Some of you have been selling as long as I have. I can remember my first real sale. It started out with a flyer that looked something like this. Our Cub Scout group had to raise money. I was 10 years old. And they passed out these flyers and they said, we're going to sell this stuff. And you're going to get to win these prizes. I know, I can see by the look on some of you on the face. You remember this in the back of Boy's Life magazine, don't you? The idea was that they gave you this cardboard box full of things, totally unrelated things, and your job was to go door to door in your neighborhood and get people to buy absolutely unnecessary stuff. I mean ridiculous stuff. One of the things was a flashlight that had a screwdriver that stuck out the end of it. Nice idea, except when you turned it, the plastic broke. Another was a box of greeting cards that were so ugly you wouldn't send them to your worst enemy. And then they had my favorite. It was a fork. It was a fork for baked potatoes. And what you did is you stuck it in the hot potato, and then you squeezed it. And when you squeezed the fork, it pushed the potato off the end, so you didn't have to use your fingers or burn them. Well, that's how it was designed. In truth, if you squeezed it real fast, it shot the potato. My mother wasn't thrilled with that. Anyway, I got my kit, and I'm ready to go sell, and I'm going to earn the bike. I'm going to do all this stuff. I was already competitive at 10 years old. My wife tells me I still am. Went to the first house, and I pulled out my favorite tool. I pulled out that fork, and I showed them the fork, and they thought, yeah, perfect, I'll buy the fork. And I thought, good value proposition. They must have really liked what I was selling. Went to the next one, and I pulled out my favorite tool, and I sold them the fork. I was selling more of these crazy potato forks than anybody in the troop. You were supposed to go door to door, but then they said the real profit was in selling to your relatives. So we took a trip to Grandpa's house. Now, I changed my sales presentation for my grandfather because he started it differently. Grandpa sat down and he said, show me everything you've got. So I opened the cardboard box and I started taking out each of the items and explaining to him in detail why this was a wonderful thing. I showed him everything. We must have had 30 items laid out in front of him on the table. Grandpa said, why are you doing this? What's it for? What's the money going to go for? And I said, well, Grandpa, they're raising money so that kids who don't have enough money to go to summer camp will be able to go to summer camp. We'll have scholarships for them so they can go to summer camp. My grandfather looked at me and he said, where's your order form? Handed it to him. I still remember he took it and he checked off every single line item on the order form. And then he wrote me a check. He bought one of each. Now, I didn't understand for years later why he did that, but I understand it now. See, my grandfather had won the award, or earned the award, from the Boy Scouts for being one of the top volunteers, one of the top community leaders many years before. And I had tapped into something with him that absolutely resonated, and I had a customer for life there. Some of you who sell in the Buffalo area, in Buffalo, New York, and sell to Women and Children's Hospital, next time you stop in Women and Children's Hospital, look at the Tanner Building. That's named after my grandfather. He ran that hospital for 30 years.